Wanted to give you a tour of my garden, my hostas, my columbines. Now they're done, but what I like to do is shake out all the seeds and they will go all over the place. Plant themselves. Little rose bush I received as a gift. My clematises, they're done blooming right now. Oh, except for one. More of my hostas, some of my ground sedums. My knockout rose and my clematis are battling it out. What I'm actually going to do is I'll trim them both so they both can breathe and have their own space. My hydrangea. A lot of times you're supposed to leave these, but this one at this point is dead, so I'll be trimming that down to the bottom. My hydrangea here actually needs a lot more sun for it to bloom. It's not getting enough because of the tree above. I call this my hosta farm. Of course, there's creeping Jenny in there as well. So it's doing a little bit of suffocating for my hostas, but it's also keeping out the weeds, so I'm not going to complain too much. But I just love the variety I have in here and the color. Over here, for the life of me, I cannot think what these are. I am just blanking, but they're fun. I like them. My blanket flower right there. And then these are lilacs. These were just taking a root from another plant. Looks like they're gonna shoot out maybe more branches or more flowers. There's a peonies right back there, but that one's done blooming. Obviously it's early. These sunflowers, I cannot remember if they are perennial sunflowers or if they just replanted themselves, but they are scattered a bit. I want to say they planted themselves again. The birds did, but I'm not 100% on that. My hibiscus, that will get so big, about another maybe 3 to 4 feet high. And then got obviously the coneflower. I love this red coneflower. I am obsessed with this one. That I just had one little sprig, one flower, and now it's turned into, looks like there's about a dozen in there. Please excuse the weeds. It's been a little bit. Here's some more coneflowers. Those are all different colors. And then obviously my indigo in the back is getting a little overgrown. What I have to do now is I have to take it, I have to split it and kind of start it all over so it's not getting as big and tall, kind of stringy on the inside. It usually is very bushy and tight, but this one is just way oversized. It's in too good of a condition, unfortunately. That's what happens when, you know, the plants are happy. They tend to reach out a little bit too far. And then back here, that was my veggie garden. It's a little overgrown right now, so don't judge me on that. Oh, but speaking of which, here's some more baby indigos. Right there. And over here is just some kindling I have for a bonfire. But this is my whole garden. But one thing I want to tell you is, guess what? This whole garden is going to move. That's right. It's going, it's leaving, it's going to come to a new home, and I'm developing a brand new garden. Keep following me on that and you'll see what my transformation will be for my next garden. Oh, hold on. And some of my tiger lilies back there, they're different. And then obviously some daylilies there too. Always love them. They're a very easy plant, but I love just the color of those tiger lilies. I would walk back there, but I'm afraid of stepping on something. Obviously, like my iris right there, that's still developing. Oh, more irises all over. Oh, this one. Oh no, they're not irises. They're my toad flower. Oh, they're coming in soon. Yes, my toad flower. I hope I didn't crush that putting that there. But anyways, I had to take down this fence, so it's a little bit easier to work with. I don't need the fence anymore. My dog won't be attacking my plants like she used to when everything was tiny, but she's a lot more well-behaved now. And you can see her on multiple videos as well. Welcome back to Green Bay Explorer. Today I'm taking care of my clematis. It has gotten way overgrown. There's actually 3 of them in here, believe it or not. But my main one is actually right here planted, and it's using my knockout rose as its support right now. And my knockout rose is way overgrown as well, so I'll be trimming that. But the reason I'm doing all this, for one, to take care of it, but 2, they're going to be transported to a new home. My entire garden here is going to be moved to a whole new property, and I'm excited to show you all about that. This is the before. Let's get started. I'm going to start right here with my rose and then continue over. Now, first thing you're going to ask is this going to hurt anything? Not at all. All of this will grow out, grow back big and happy. Oh my goodness. This is going to be a challenge. You can see it's so thick. Look how much was in there. It just keeps going and going. If you look here, a lot of this was being held up by old growth, but I'm going to keep chopping away at it. It is so thick that it takes multiple chops just to get into it a little bit. This whole section of bush shrub, I'm actually going to take it right out. This will come back. See that little shooter right there? This whole thing will come back. Knockout roses are really good at coming back. There's one there, one there, one there. It's hard to kill out a knockout rose. Even at the very bottom, look where that got cut, sending out new shooters. But it had no sun, so it had a harder time coming out. So let's keep going. I'm just gonna start at the top again. I'm not gonna go straight into the bottom and just chop. That'll be a little bit too aggressive. I wanna have control of how I'm shaping everything as well. You can see how thick this is, and see all that dead growth underneath? That's what it was holding on to. And it keeps building on itself. And the green stays on the top. Here's some more of my rose, just take that out. I am not hurting anything by doing that. I also have my little helper here, Lola. Come here, baby. She's always helping me in the garden. Sometimes a little too much. She digs holes that maybe I don't want, but she's a good girl. So I also want to show you one of my baby hostas, again, was being drowned by everything. Right in here, I had a little baby one, barely got any sun, which hostas do okay without sun, but in this case, it was a little too much. In addition to my hosta, one of my sedums was also being blocked, and it kept reaching, trying to reach the sun, and obviously a big giant dandelion was trying hard to reach the sun as well. So one thing to consider when you're planting large shrubs or clematises are in your garden. The biggest mistake I made with this is not giving it a good enough trellis for it to climb on, and that's why it went to climbing on my plants. It's a little bit of work, but let's keep going. Now you're starting to see my roses a little bit more. Look how much light it took away from my hosta as well. I mean my hydrangea. This is a hydrangea. And it is about to bloom soon. The blooms are right there. But it's not getting enough sun, and that's why you don't see as many blooms. And even right here, joining the party, is my wisteria. And my wisteria is trying to snag on and use my rosebush as a support as well. This whole process is quite a workout, but what I want to do now is, before, I've been stepping in here and oh my goodness, puppy! She just stepped in the thorns. Well, I think, oh, you okay? You poor baby. Before I go and tramp all over my little hosta here, I am going to dig it out now so I don't have to get upset later about stepping on it. I'm using this nice deep shovel. Can't think of the exact name of it. Maybe a post digger, but don't quote me on it. Well, its also brand is Razorback, but it's meant to get nice and deep, and that's what I like. Is now I got this nice big ball of dirt with my hosta. Now obviously whatever is not needed will fall out, but nice supported ball of dirt. And I can keep this in a pot until I'm ready to transplant it, just like this. Quick and easy. Obviously, she thinks more plant might be down there, so she's investigating. Lola, what are you finding? Other than getting muddy. I'm doing the same thing and taking out my little sedums. But look what I just found, a baby hosta right here. Again, because it got no sun, it's almost like a dwarf size. Their roots don't go as far as a hosta does, but I still do that to try and get the whole plant. That little bunch right there, that's all the roots. And they survive winter really well. I'll put these in a, oh my goodness, I'll put these in a bag first and kind of keep them in moisture. But as you can see, they don't hold their dirt very well. And it's back to chopping. Oh, there's a bloom about to happen, unfortunately. Now that I can see the undergrowth, I'm going to take it about 3.5 to 4 feet high and take all of this out, and hopefully it'll make what's on top a little easier. But all of this, even though it looks dead, ow! Oh, that got me. All this, even though it looks dead, I should have been wearing gloves, you know, bad on my part. That looks dead is actually alive, and that is what has been feeding this the whole time. You're not hurting anything by this rough chopping. It'll come back next year. You can see the growth right there in that one. See that little bit of green with all that dark brown? You'll be fine. This is one of my trellises that was supposed to hold everything up, but the reason it failed was it lost one of its feet. All right, that took a little while, but after all this is what I'm leaving. You can see its support at the very bottom, everything shooting up. I still want to leave it green. If I chopped all of this off, it could put the plant in shock because now it's not getting any life or energy during the summertime. And again, it was clobbering my tall sedums back here. But you can see how much room this created now. As we pull back, look how much space is left and how much it took over. I cleared out my knockout rows right here and one of my clematises out of the 3. But now I'm going to start digging out my rows and putting it in this bucket. Hopefully that's big enough to transport to its new home. This is exactly why I have this really deep shovel, is I want to get down to that root base. I'm loosening up the soil around it first before I actually go for the main root base. I'm trying to get the roots that are way outside to loosen them. There we go. Loosen this up. I have to go all around, and until you start seeing the whole plant shift a little bit, then I've hit it. But I'm just going straight down, pushing it up, straight down, push up, and keep going as far as you can. See how the pole plant is now moving? Keep going around in a 360 degree. If you have a little bit resistance, use your body weight. Oh my gosh. It's stuck. But I want to give it as much roots and soil as possible. Oh my goodness. Along with my rosebush, I'm also going to work on my clematis because it's right back here as well, and do the same thing that I'm doing with the rosebush, is doing a 360 around it, getting as deep as I can to gather all the roots. At least I was able to rescue one thing. Oh my goodness, my sedum. Usually they grow really, really tall, but in this case it was reaching to try and find some sun. One plant out, many to go. So stuck. All right, I can finally hear it's moving. You can hear there's a little bit of tearing from the roots letting go, but here's a root right here. Watch out, baby. Oh, you're gonna dig it out? Okay, thank you. Oh my goodness, here she goes. And this is why I get nothing done. Here's one of the tap roots. I'm just going to come in and loosen that root right here. You can see right there is one of the roots that I just loosened. All right, here we go. Let's try that again, nice and deep, and push up. You can see there's another root. All right. There's many different methods to this. So close. But one of the tap roots is not letting go. I keep having to work around. Oh my goodness. Oh, hold on, hold on. We're so close. So close. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Oh, there we go. No, I'm not gonna try and pick it up. I'm just gonna keep going around. Here's a little spot I missed. Aha! You can see that really helped it loosen up. And I put on gloves, which is a much better idea. Here we go. Ow! Don't touch the thorns. And I got my rose. Whew. That was a workout. Now on to its new home. You know what? If I dig some out here, at least I can get more leverage this way. Oh my goodness. I crushed my hosta. I'm so sad now. But hostas are very resilient. This will come back in no time. But this, on the other hand, will not if I don't get enough root. There's a lot of root in there. Ah! Now let's move to this side. You're in my way. At this point, don't judge my hair. I love gardening. Oh, I can't get the shovel out. Oh, this for a clematis. Maybe this is why you go back to the garden center and buy one for 25 bucks. But this one is so established and I spent so much time on it, I'm not giving up on it. As you can see, I got some bite back as well from the rose bush. Ah! Yes! Oh, whoops. I made a mistake. I think that might have been my other one. There was two in here. I might have chopped my one. But that one was so hidden. Here it is. Right here. Here's one of them. But it should still be okay. Because see? Leaf and roots. That's all you need. Look at you. There's been a bunch of worms in there. For all I know, she's looking for those worms. Oh, I'm getting there. still watching, I greatly appreciate it. At this point, it's just a comedy show. Me trying to get this. Ah. Ah. Alright. Let's see how much is here. Oh, I feel it. Okay. I see exactly where I have to chop it. This is what I was trying to pull out. This right here feels like it's about 30 pounds of dirt and roots and bugs crawling on me. This is the other one that came up. This is the one that was in the back, not getting as much sun, but it still had some growth on it, like right here. So it's still fine. Oh, excuse me. But this is what I was trying to do, is get this big boy out. Oh my goodness. It was a workout. It is a 95 degree day, 110% humidity. Thankfully, the sun is being covered by some clouds until about 30 seconds ago. But I'm happy I'm in my garden. Here's the before and after. This one actually blooms a lot longer in the season. I get, if I deadhead this really well, which I've showed you in a previous video, then I can get it to come up again. But I finally dug it out. There's one, and then there's the second one. I got out my rose bush and a clematis and a half. So I grabbed my garden over there, now I'm grabbing my garden over here. This is one of my cone flowers. I absolutely love this one. It's a light red, pink color, and they're a little bit easier to dig up than my clematis was. A little bit of shovel and that's all it took. These are one of the easiest plants you can take care of. I love them. Oh, and my little toad, I'm gonna mess up the name. It's toad something, toad flower, something like that, is gonna come with. I'm not done yet. Now, so sometimes the planes get in the way, but now I'm digging up my blanket flower, and there's actually, it's split into two. So I'm digging up my smaller one here, and I'll be giving that to my mom. And that's all it took. It's almost like a bouquet.
Thank you, honey.
You're welcome. This is what it came off of. This little curly guy. The reason it has the name blanket flower is because it literally will lay itself down like a blanket and shoot up the flowers like this. transplanting my rose bush, and I made sure to dig a circle hole about the size of the root base, and you can see that's plenty big. The only negative is I have to dig in 2 rocks, lots of rocks. Luckily they're kind of the round pebble rocks, so they'll cooperate a little bit, but it's going to be a workout. I have my rose propped up with some of my sod right there, but you can see the root base is slightly below the grass line, which is good. I want it to be well protected from the winter weather. And right here I have fresh compost. I'm filling around the roots in here with the compost, give it some fresh, nutritious compost. That'll help it from the shock of getting moved in the summertime. During the heat of the day, don't do that, but it's the only chance I had for my plant. And then I'll fill it on top with its normal soil again. And then on top of that, put some mulch. Keep following. It's filled in with compost. Now to add its original soil, and then mulch. Here's my clematis against the deck. Just gonna add my compost, then my topsoil, and then mulch. And then it will be tied right against the pole, and it's a nice sunny spot for about 8 hours of the day. The transplanting is complete. Here's my knockout rosebush, and it has a bonus companion of a miniature butterfly bush. This will only reach about maybe 3 feet high versus normal butterfly bushes that can reach between 6 and 8 feet tall. Sometimes in good conditions they can reach higher. Over here I planted my coneflower. This is the pink one. Everything is going to look very rough. It is the heat of the day, unfortunately, and I need to water. So that's coming up next. This is my blanket flower that I received as a gift. That'll reach about another maybe foot high, and then it'll start laying itself down like a blanket and bloom all summer. And you already know about my indigo baby and my hydrangea. I talked about that one earlier. The original soil's on top. Now I'm going to give it a good watering. I placed some soil on top of the plant, and that's all going to fall in the crevices. Nice heavy water, let that water sink. You can see all the pebbles at the top. Very sandy soil, but that's fine. Those pebbles will fall eventually, but soak it really well. Let that water sink in, and I will add the mulch on top. Over here I have my other blanket flower. Again, it looks very yucky right now because it just got transplanted. My other baby indigo and my dusty millers are doing great. This is my ground sedum. I spread it out over this corner. Here's my clematis. Again, it looks kind of yucky. I had to tie it to the deck, but planted it right here. It actually doesn't look too bad. Coming around the front, here's my other sedum. Don't judge me, it needs to be watered. And then these are my little, they're almost like irises, but they're I think a toad flower. I had to look this up again, I forget the name, but I have 4 of them here, 3 big ones and then a little baby right there. This is another sedum. They were just little sprouts that I turned into this plant right here. Up in the front I have my, I'm calling this my fairy garden. It's going to be all miniature plants, and this is the small kind of ground cover hosta that I pulled out earlier. It actually was 2 of them. You can see that I was able to split it really easy. It came apart, no issue. You saw this one earlier. This is another one of my ground cover hostas. It stays very small. That's why I like to call it my ground cover. And I have a lot more of these that I'll be bringing and just circling my whole garden here. And then in the back will be my taller hostas and other perennials. Two of my poor sedums broke off as I was trying to transplant them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be soaking this in water for a little bit, and then I'm going to put it right in soil and keep that soil damp, and it should come right back to life and sprout its own roots.